Okay, we're live. We're live and ready to go. It's KP4MD.
All right, it's 8:59 Pacific Standard Time, and good evening. This is Wilson Head, November 6th Echo Mike Foxtrot, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arc's members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency traffic is terminated or the traffic is moved to another channel. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Roseville.
All right, good evening, Bob. November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec. Thanks for being the first check-in. Good evening. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing real well. Looking forward to seeing if this beast will work.
All right. Well, welcome to the net, and all you got to do is feed it. All right. So, do we have a number 2 check-in?
Lima Hotel, Quebec Radio, Neo and Antelope.
Well, thanks for checking into the net, Neil. KL7HQR, N6EMF here. Number 3.
Alpha India 6, Delta Golf. Joel. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Joel. Good evening. AI6DG there, and thanks for checking into the net. How about the next check-in?
Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta, Carol in Citrus Heights.
All right, hello again, Carol. Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta. Welcome to the net, and let's see, do we have anyone else that wishing to check in this evening to the Slow Scan TV net? All right, well, again, this is Wilson and November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot. I guess I'll check myself in. What I'll do now is if no one has any general comments, I'll kick off the net. So I'll give a quick pause, check in with everyone to see if you have any status updates or questions or comments. None. Bob, you're first on the list. You jumped right in there in N6PGQ. Are you ready with a photo? If you are, go ahead and transmit.
Okay. According to Neo, I'm supposed to tell you that I'm using PD120.
Or Dottie 1 or whatever mode it is you are going to be transmitting. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm using PD120, so here we go.
congratulations, Bob, N6PGQ. He has transmitted his first slow scan TV photograph on the slow scan TV Net for N6NA. So welcome to the group, Bob. Nice work. What I see is a pretty nice photograph. I see one line of noise about in the top fifth of the photo, maybe horizontal line of sort of static, and a few pock marks throughout the photo. The main thing, though, here is this feline. You have a friendly-looking cat there sitting on top of a desk that right in front of a well-appointed ham shack, appointed with some of the best radios available. And I see, all kinds of radios in the background, and I'm sure others will want to comment on those. But I also see your N6PGQ call sign in red letters in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So you did a nice job transmitting the photo. Congratulations, Bob. N6NA.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for the comment, Wilson. Yeah, that's my cat, Molly. She's 17 years old, and ever since she was a kitten, when she heard HF static, she'd come and run and jump in my lap and, either try to bat at the key or bat at the microphone. And it's been a couple of houses that she's done that. She doesn't like FM that much. She kind of ignores it. But anytime the HF rig's on, she comes running, and this time she got off my lap and jumped on the table where the rigs are.
HF, Healthy Feline. How's that for an acronym? All right, well, thank you, Bob. Turn it over to Neil for his assessment of the photo. Would you like to talk about Bob's photo?
Well, I've had a chance to see this photo before in person, and it came across really well, Bob. Yeah, you have a HF rig just behind the cat, and I also have the same static line just above the top of the left ear of the cat, just above the display for the radio on the right-hand side. There's some wires coiled, well, not coiled, but arranged on the right-hand side. It must be going to maybe a key, CW key or something else, tan collar. And I see what appears to be a amplifier on the left side, and a handheld, and also a mouse. The letters N6PGQ in red just above a blue background on the left bottom side, and the desk very shiny brown. So very good copy, no problem at all. Back to net.
All right, that was KL7HQR. Thank you, Neil. Turn it over to Joel. Did you have any comments on the photo? AI60G.
Very well received. The normal PayPause pops, RGB sprinkled around. The line above the cat's ear. Sounded like the transmission dropped out. I'm not sure what happened. It wasn't this noise that we heard. It actually dropped out, I think. I'm wondering if that's a Bofang that's on the handy-talkie that's to the left of the cat. And it's quite an assortment of gear. I'm assuming HF and otherwise. There's just too many of them. I just don't know enough brands, and it's not high enough resolution. But it looks like there must be a window behind the shack, because I can see light coming, both reflecting off the table surface underneath the main rig that's on the right, but is also shining between the cracks between the stacked gear. Actually, is that a microphone behind just to the left of the cat? Oh, wow. Yeah, lots of cables, lots of microphones. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, that was AI60G. Thank you, Joel. And I think what I see, like to the right of the handheld transceiver's antenna, might be possibly a computer interface, such as a signal link. But I don't know what else else it might be, but it looks like an audio PC interface possibly. Anyway, that's my assessment of that. I'll turn it over to Carol, KP4MD. And Carol, could you also let us know if you see any YouTubers out there monitoring?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Yes, we have we have some visitors on YouTube. We have Jim Nesson, that's K6 Juliet Whiskey November. We have Mike KN6JGY. We also have Craig in Louisiana, WP2N, who's watching us on YouTube and checked in on our live chat. And I want to say I recognize the Elecraft K3. I recognize the KPA 500 amplifier and the matching antenna tuner, the KAT 500 over there behind the Baofeng. Uh, I see the signal link on the top shelf there. That's above the Elecraft amplifier. And I want to apologize for that little band of that horizontal band of interference there. Um, what happened was I had to mute my headset microphone because it just creaks a little bit and it keys the Vox, and so I'm using Vox here. So I'll have to make sure that I press the mute button next time so that sort of thing doesn't happen. So that was my bad. Very good for first picture on the net here tonight. Thank you very much for that, Bob. Back to net control. This is KP for MT.
Thanks, KP4MD, Carol. Appreciate the update on the YouTube visitors as well. So I want to give a shout out to all our visitors. I'm not sure if I was able to copy the names accurately, but I thought I heard Jim and Mike and maybe Cole. But my apologies if I've mispronounced the names, but you can correct me later if you like. And I think I gave my review of the photo from my perspective. I'll turn it over to Bob himself, N6 PGQ. I think, Bob, you already gave us some insight into what was going on with the photo, but based on what you've heard so far from us, what else would you have for us?
Well, I'm amazed that the quality of the picture has gotten through to you folks. Yeah, you folks have recognized a K3 and a KPA 500 in the tuner. Above it's a signal link, just like everybody else said, and then a couple of Yaesu radios and a bunch of other junk, and of course my cat. The Baofeng happened to be there. It was the trunk radio coming in and getting charged. So I'm pretty amazed that the quality is that good at your end, and happy that my first try was at least reasonably successful. Thanks a lot.
All right, Bob, well, you're welcome. Thanks for joining in, and again, looks like you have a really well-appointed shack, so take care of it and enjoy it, N6NA. I'm going to turn it over to KL7HQR. Neil, if you're ready, go ahead with a photo. Thank you. Let us know which transmit mode you're going to be in as well.
Roger, scale 7HQR. Thank you. We're also going to be in PD120, and let's hope that I am half as successful as Bob was.
right, very good. I was able to copy Neil KL7HQR. Thank you for sending the photo over. I copied it quite well. I do see what we'd expect to see, a few pock marks here and there in the photo. I forgot how you would characterize this, but there's sort of an inset photo in the upper left-hand corner of possibly a photo of the gentleman on the right, but he's in the inset in the upper left possibly. And the photo reads at the bottom, KL7HQR, visit to Bob McLeod, VP8LP, Falkland Islands. Wow, January 17th, 2020. So that was about a year ago. And, well, congratulations, Neil. Picture came through pretty good. It looks like two gentlemen possibly enjoying some time together there in a ham shack, maybe. And I'll say thanks for sending that. Came through good. And turn it over to maybe AI6DG. Joel, would you go ahead?
I'd call it picture-in-picture on the upper left. It looks like it's the same gentleman in the picture-in-picture as is in the main picture on the left. He's sitting at a desk with a hand on a mouse, sitting in a keyboard on the desk surface, with some ham radio gear underneath a shelf that has two monitors on it. The main picture has, I would guess, that same station and those same two monitors, because it looks like the same thing's on the monitors in both the insert and the main photo. Sitting in a shack. Can't really tell what any of the gear is, although it looks like there's a cross needle SWR meter behind the guy on the left in the main picture. There's two desks there actually, because it looks like there's an L desk, because it's a laptop sitting on the desk in the main image all the way on the left. And I don't recognize what's on the screen in terms of, sometimes when it's WSJTX, you just know that it's WSJTX. Or if it's some program you use a lot of and you know the look of. But I don't recognize what's on the two screens. There's a nice VP8LP sign sitting on the desk between the two guys. Window in the background. And when I first read that, 117, 2020, I was thinking, oh, wait a minute, that's just 3 days ago. How did you get from Falkland Islands back to California in 3 days? And then I had to think about it, and, oh, wait a minute, it's no longer 2020. I write a check. Back to net, AI6DG.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for that, Joel. AI6DG had a nice round of comments. So next up is Carol, Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta. Would you like to describe the picture? Thank
you. Sure. This is KP4MD. That picture came through very well. Of course, it's got some of the popcorn pixelation in there. But all in all, I'd say about 90% good and clear. And nice, the Falklands, back in 1982, I was living in the Caribbean, and that was when they had the Falklands War, which I think lasted about 2 to 3 months. And down there they called those islands the Malvinas when the Argentinians went in and took over for a brief period of time. And a lot of people down in the area I was, they were rooting for Argentina. But we all know how there was some pretty sad loss of life there, unfortunately, because of that ambition to take over that territory. It's one of the few remaining outposts of the overseas British Empire. And what they do there, I think, mostly is raise sheep and keep Argentinians out. That's, I think, what they mainly do down there. So it's good that he has a nice very attractive ham radio station to keep him occupied and happy. That would be a really nice outpost there for DX, being surrounded by salt water, and I'm sure he gets a lot of pileups on him there. But thank you very much for sharing that, and it must have been quite an adventure for you, Neil, to go down there. Back to net. This is KP4MD.
All right, wonderful, Carol. Thank you for that. Let me see, where am I on the list? I've got Carol, Bob, N6PGQ. Would you like to go ahead with any comments on Neil's photo? KL7HQR. Go ahead.
Well, most everybody's covered everything. Behind Bob McLeod's head, on our left, is what looks like a MFJ tuner and a cross needle SWR meter. Then I don't know whether that's another picture that Neil took that's in the upper left-hand corner, the insert picture, or that was one from his QSL card, but it's nice and clear also. And you can see the different windows open on the computer over Neil's head. And as you described, there's got little noise marks throughout the picture. It's not too noticeable when there's the people's faces and their clothes, things like that. It's in the blank spaces like in the wall in the upper right of the picture. So all in all, very nice. And as again I've said, I'm amazed at the quality of the programs.
Sounds like you're hooked, Bob. N6EMF here. Thank you. And so what I'll do is if there's no follow-up comments, and I'll let there be a quick pause, but if there's no follow-up comments after this, we'll turn it over to Joel, AI6DG, for a photo. So before we do that, I'll take a quick pause for comments, and then go ahead. N6EMF here.
L7HQR for comment.
All right. Let's see. Joel, Alpha Indy 6 Delta Golf, would you like to go ahead with a photo?
First, let's make sure I got the tone, so please report the tone and the audio level.
Loud and clear. AI6DG successfully sent a photograph. I can see maybe a mountain desert landscape, I guess. Can't tell exactly what it is, but it looks like a high mountain landscape possibly. And see mountains or hills in the background with a stone cabin of some kind, or a stone building. It's kind of a ranch-style building with a metal roof. I guess if it's metal, that implies snow, and maybe that isn't a desert mountain. But I see also some kind of exhaust stack, which might be some type of stove exhaust, maybe. But the windows appear to be maybe boarded or shielded, possibly for weather or storms. I don't know. But anyway, it looks like a clear blue sky on the horizon, and it reads AI6DG in the upper left-hand corner. I don't know if I see rocks or slate or ice or something around the building, but the building also looks like it might be sinking into the ground, but also it could be an issue on my end with the slant. But anyway, overall, a really clear picture, and thank you for sending the photo. And I'll turn it over to Carol, Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Picture came through very well, as you can see on YouTube. It's a nice long building with a peaked roof there. Looks like it's on top of some kind of a plateau or some kind of a mountain peak. And it's got a chimney there, and this looks like either slabs of stone, rock slabs all around, unless it's maybe snow or so. It doesn't look exactly like so. I think that's kind of probably rock formations. And since Joel very often visits these places, I'm guessing that he actually took this picture and maybe was inside that building at some point. Yeah, Joel is quite an adventuresome backpacker, and goes out into these places that are very far from civilization. And thank you very much for sharing that. Right next to the intake of the chimney, down on the left-hand wall, I could see something that has different colors: blue, white, red, green, and yellow. And I'm not sure what that stands for. Anyway, back to net. This is KP4MD.
Okay, nice assessment, Carol. Thank you. N6EMF here. I'll turn it over to, say, Bob, November 6th, Papa Golf, Quebec. What would you have for a discussion on the photo? Thank you.
Okay, well, I see everything that everybody else does. I don't have the AI6DG and have a black bar at the bottom, maybe a 16th of the picture or less, and so apparently my computer didn't catch the very start of the picture. You can see a little tiny bit of detail in the shadow in the foreground, but not a lot, and just very nice picture in the high mountains, it looks like, N6PGQ.
All right, nice one, Bob. Thank you. Neil, KL7HQR. Go right ahead. N6EMF here.
Nice KL7HQR. I know exactly what this is. This is Joel's new shack. No, absolutely same thing as everybody says. The stones definitely look like slate. They're sedimentary, and looks like the house itself is built with segments of the stone, maybe with either concrete or mud or something. It probably wouldn't be mud, because this looks very, very dry, and definitely a corrugated metal roof by appearance. And it looks like a high plateau somewhere. And so basically what everybody else said. Before I pass it on back, let me give you a very quick rundown of the picture that I sent before. The picture itself was not that significant, but the circumstances were. We were going on a cruise from Europe to here, not from Europe. We were going from Santiago, Chile, around into Antarctica, back through Falklands, and then to Buenos Aires. And about 3 days before we left, I accidentally, completely by accident, I made a contact with Bob. And so when we got, after we passed through Antarctica, got to Falkland and Stanley, we got off the ship and we went to look for information. It's so small that they don't have a telephone book, but we went to the information booth, and they said there were 2 Bobs. There were amateur radio operators there, and she tried to call one of them. No, that's not the one, so we gave up. And it's like San Francisco with very low avenues paralleling the coast, and then steep climbs. So we started walking just to see the town, and my wife spotted, is that a ham radio antenna? So we climbed about 2 blocks and got there, knocked on the door, and they were extremely hospitable and invited us in, and he gave us coffee, and we stayed there for about an hour and a half talking and got the in-hand QSL card. And what was on the computer, he was telling me about the VOA propagation program that he was using, and also the logbook that he used was a DX4WIN. And so that's what he has in there. So we had a very, very good conversation, and then we left. So cold call on a ham station. So back to Nat.
Oh my gosh, that's a wonderful story. Thank you, Neil. Well, that's great. So anybody else? Any other comments? Oh, sounds like that's great. So let's see, where are we in the list? We have Neil, AI6DG, Joel. What would you say?
You want, okay, so you want a description of my photo?
Please, by the way, thanks for sending the photo. Lots of interest there. Go ahead.
So this is the top of Mount Whitney. This is the hut on the top of Mount Whitney. So what you're looking at is 14,500 feet in elevation. So yes, it's high. Yes, it's dry. And it's obviously summer. It's not snow on the ground, it's rocks. Everything there, all those rocks, I'm sure is granite. I'm assuming the hut was constructed with local materials for them as much as possible, which would mean that the stone there would be granite. So it's basically slabs of granite with decomposed granite in the form of sand in between them. And I'm sure that bedrock granite is very close to the top here. This was built in 1909. I originally thought it was going to be Sierra Club. They do a lot of stuff like that, but it turns out it's the Smithsonian Institute. They probably put it up there for research purposes. I believe there's 3 rooms in this. Probably each window is into one room, and the windows they're not boarded up. I think it's actually not sheet metal, but plate metal coverings for the windows. I doubt there's glass in there. It's probably, if you open those, it would be open space. I'm not sure. It's built solidly because it definitely gets a lot of snow in the winter. People do actually climb Mount Whitney in winter. It would look completely different then, obviously. I imagine you would have... Well, actually, here you may not have a lot of snow on the ground. I imagine a lot of the snow that comes down in this area would get blown off. So you probably have a drift of snow on one side, and the other side would be blown clear to the ground. Okay, so 3 rooms. One room, I believe, is a search and rescue cache, so that when they're doing search and rescue, they have a cache up there of supplies such as ropes and probably food, blankets, and things like that. I believe another room is a meteorological station or weather monitoring. or at least it used to be. Maybe if that's still in use, if it's not, maybe storage. I don't know, or maybe the gear is still there, just abandoned. And then there's a third room that's a hut for the public to hide in, or to in emergency purposes, to hide in if you got to stay the night, or if you're in a snowstorm or something. Or, and I said hide because the other possibility is thunder and lightning. Metal roof, and if you open this up full screen, you might be able to tell that there's lots of lightning rods on it. But there's very obvious signs all over the place about this room not being lightning proof, and there actually have been injuries and deaths from people that hiding in that room in the middle of a thunderstorm. Even though it's wooden floored and you've got all the lightning rods, you can still get zapped. The smokestack is into this room that's open to the public, but I don't remember if there's a stove in there or not. It's very dark in there. There's no light. The only light there would be from the open door. This is right next to the high point. The high point would actually be behind me or a little bit to the left, and it's minusculely higher than this. It's just stand on a few slabs of rock and you get a foot or two higher. But this portion is fairly flat. I'm looking kind of to the southwest, and looking this direction, it's kind of a gentle slope into a valley that's off to the west of Mount Whitney. But as is true with most of the Sierra Nevada, it's an escarpment with a very steep drop to the east. So maybe 20 feet off to the left or behind me, it drops down a sheer cliff 1,000 or 2,000 feet. This is, I think, one of two trips one of two times I actually got to the top, but I've been in the area, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times, and not always made it. Either got turned back due to weather being thunderstorms, hail, lightning, or just didn't even bother to, because it's a beautiful area up there. There's been a few times I just go up there and stay at my camp that's 2 or 3 miles from here. Enough. I'm taking all the time. Back to you guys. Back to Net, AI6TG.
Wow. Well, thanks for that, Joel. I was wondering, how accessible it is, but I guess obviously the only way to get up there is to climb it, right? Is that correct? N6EMF?
No, this is it's a regular trail. I mean, there are hundreds of people that day hike this in normal circumstances every day in summer. It's just a trail, and a reasonably well maintained trail. It's not easy because the trail has, if you day hike it, you're starting at 8,000 feet, and in 9 miles. I forget. I'm not sure how far the trail is, but it's something like 9 miles. You're going from 8,000 feet up to 14,500, and then you've got to get back. So a lot of people have a lot of problems, but a lot of people do make it, but some people don't. Altitude sickness being one of the main issues, but it's all a maintained trail. So it's definitely considerably easier than many other peaks out there. I think in Peaks on the Air, or Summits on the Air, SOTA, this is considered one of the harder peaks, but it's more the distance and the altitude than it is having to rock climb there, which it is not. This would be a class 1 or 2 hike, if you know what climbing classes are. Back to Net, AI6TG.
It's intriguing. I don't know much about trails and climbing and classes. It's No, I appreciate that. Almost a tutorial on this. Well, do we have any other comments or follow-up questions for Joel, AI6DG there? All right, well, thank you, Joel. That, again, is a pretty interesting one, so hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up and hear more about some of these adventures that you like to go on. You didn't mention whether you carried a portable radio up there. That is one of my last questions. How's that one?
I have not done that yet. Usually when I'm up there, I'm doing photography, but I've not been down there much since I got into ham radio again. So one interesting possibility would be to activate it, bring up the KX2 instead of the camera gear, and figure out some sort of antenna I could bring up. I think most SOTA activations are CW. I don't do CW, so I'd be limited to sideband. Or if I got really adventuresome and managed to drag up a computer of some kind to do FTA, but I've not activated up here. It would be interesting. Back to that AI6DG.
All right, well, thanks again, Joel. Hear more about mountaintops and adventures later for sure if we can get in contact one of these times. So I'd like to turn it over to Carol, KP4MD. Would you like to transmit a photo now? And if so, please indicate your mode. Thank you.
Yep, okay, very good. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta, and this picture will be going over PD120. Here we go.
All right, in this case, the second time in a row I had to correct the slant. I can see a pretty nice photo, Carol, so thank you, KP4MD. What it appears to be, if I'm seeing this accurately, is a photo that might be divided in half, or either it's a wall between two rooms, but I think it's a photo divided in half, possibly. I see possibly a 19-inch rack on the right-hand side of, looks like maybe radio transceiver equipment. I see a Yaesu mobile transceiver on maybe near the floor. I see maybe a cavity or a duplexer over there to the left that's tunable. Above that on the rack is maybe a repeater transceiver or some other modular repeater system. I don't recognize the brand or the model or whatever, but looks like a repeater station in my opinion. To the left, you've got, I don't know, maybe a keyboard. Oh, I think I know what this is. Is that a dehydrator? I don't know what that little canister is with the in and out on it, or maybe it's a filter of some kind. But anyway, I think that's your node for your echo leak. Now I can't remember the name of the node, the Sherry or the Shari thing, but can't read the text. AI6DG Day KP4MD is what I see on the bottom. Exciting photo. Like to hear all the opinions about this one. So this is N6EMF here. I'll turn it over to Bob, N6PGQ. Go right ahead.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. It looks like a repeater cavity, probably 2 meters, and computer keyboard underneath it for control. Bunch of control circuits on the right, power distribution, and it has the AI6DG DEK P4MD in different hues at the bottom, and worked out pretty well. N6PGQ.
Very good, Bob. Thank you. N6EMF here. Next is Neil, KL7HQR. Did you want to describe the photo from your perspective?
KL7HQR. Having never been at a repeater site, I cannot identify any of the equipment. I do agree with all the descriptions, and I see the equipment, I see the devices, but as to their function, I am bound to learn a lot. But I do see the keyboard on the center and what appears to be a 19-inch rack. So let me go into a listening and learning mode. Back to net.
Yeah, I think I thank you, Neil. This N6EMF. I missed out on a lot of the action over the last few days that developed over the testing phase for. I'm pretty sure this is Carol's node. I can't remember the name of the node. it's part of the Echo Link, and I know she's talked about it, but it's a big deal to hear about this. So I'm going to turn it over to Joel, AI6DG. Thanks, Neil.
Okay, yeah, I agree. It's split left and right. The right one, we appear to be looking at a segment of a 19-inch rack, open frame. We've got 4 shelves. The top shelf appears to be a flat panel with terminal strip attached to it for power distribution with a maybe an Astron, but it's a power supply that's embedded into the flat panel on the left, and then with the power distribution on the right. And then probably 2U in height, and then we've got 2U in height shelves below that. It looks like the same gear. I'm guessing a transceiver of some kind. Probably power coming in from the right, and coax. Probably a UHF connector on the front right of it with a 90-degree adapter, and the coax shooting off to the left side. And there's a big space going down to another shelf, but this center mount shelf of some kind because it looks like it's sticking in front of and behind the rack posts with, I guess that probably is a transceiver, UHF, VHF, I don't know which, can't really tell what kind of, with a cavity sitting on the shelf, tunable cavity to the left of it on the shelf, sitting upright. That's why there's a space, because it needs a space for the cavity to be sitting upright. With coax screwing into the top front of it and coax sticking forward. The image on the left is, we're probably looking at another shelf, maybe in a rack. I can't really tell. It's too close in. The right side of what we see is the keyboard sitting. The left side in front has some sort of device. Look, it's got Ethernet plugged into it. It's got coax coming out of it. It might be a Sherry something, because I can kind of read something that starts with an S. Oh, Pi. Okay. Is it a Sherry Pi for you? Yeah, I think it starts with S and ends in with Pi for you. But the coax is coming out of that and going up, and behind it on the shelf where is another upright tunable cavity, probably going through some adapters or something, because there's definitely a 90-degree adapter on the other connector that's pointing back, because there's two RF connectors, one pointing forward going to the Sherry Pi for you, and one pointed back with a 90-degree and a cable going out of that, and I don't know, flowing down below the shelf, so you can't really see where it's going. So yes, this is probably the Echolink, and detailing some of the cabling and power distribution. I'm trying to decide whether this is simple or complicated, because even the simple stuff can be complicated. So it can be deceiving. Both ways. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, I'll have a little fun with this one. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate that AI6DG, the N6EMF. Yeah, I think we, among us all, we ate all the meat off the bone here, and I'm not sure if there's much left for Carol to to describe. But I know there is. There probably is a lot more for her to describe. It's I'm pretty sure this is that Sherry, that node she's been working on the last few weeks, the Echolink or All-Star or something. But anyway, I'll turn it over to Carol and say thanks to everybody so far for their descriptions. And let's see, did I miss Bob? Did I catch you, Bob? Did you discuss this one?
Yeah, it was about the first one.
Thank you for that refresher there. Go ahead, Carol. KP4MD, N6EMF here.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD, and wow, you did a pretty good analysis. This is a split screen. You've got two different pictures. The left and the right are in different locations altogether. The one on the left is the Sherry Pi 4U. That's that little node. It's an All-Star Link node and Echolink. And it's plugged into a Raspberry Pi that's in a black case. If you look at the center of that case, you might see the Raspberry on there, and it's upside down. That's what the Ethernet is plugged into. And yep, the coaxial cable coming out of the Sherry Pi 4U is going into a bandpass cavity resonator, and that's tuned in the 440 megahertz band. So this is located over in North Natomas right now, and it's hooked up to the internet through that Ethernet. That's the link that currently is connected to the N6NA repeater. That's what has it right now on Echolink and also on our All-Star network. What you see on the right half that picture, you're correct, there's an Astron power supply rack mounted up on top. Down below that is a 900 megahertz Motorola uplink transmitter. You can see it has the heavy low loss coaxial cable coming out of it. The other unit just below that is a Motorola it's a it's a 400 megahertz receiver for one of our remote receivers. It goes to the voter. This is the repeater control point in West Sacramento. That's where that's located. Now, what you see there on the bottom, very bottom shelf, is a mobile rig. It's a Yaesu FT8800. It's tuned to the exact same frequency as the Sharry Pi 4U, which is on a UHF simplex frequency. And you could probably see the the red and black wires with the fuse holders coming from that upwards. That's the power cord going to the Yaesu rig. There's another black cable that's coming from the back of the Yaesu rig going straight up. That is the cable that goes to the data port on the back, and that carries the audio in and audio out, and the push to talk, and the carrier operated squelch keying as well. And that goes up to the repeater controller. The coaxial cable from the Yaesu rig goes to its own little cavity resonator, also on 440. Both of these stations have Yagi antennas. They're pointed at each other, and that little Sharry puts out about 400 milliwatts. It has a good solid signal at over there at the repeater control site. There's only about I'd say about 3 or 4 mile distance between the 2 points, but that's what's operating right now on the N6NA repeater, and it's got us on Echolink. We're on N6NA R. That's the way you can get into our repeater. And another way to get in there is to All-Star. The node number is 53410. And we've been doing some testing on it the past couple of days. We've actually linked up our repeater with the Wind system, and we're carrying some of their traffic for the past couple of mornings just to test out the quality of the sound. And it seems that we have all the audio levels pretty good, and it seems to be working quite well. We're still in the evaluation stage on this. This is a temporary hookup. So we thought I'd just let you see what we have going right now. Chris, N6ICW, has done a tremendous job in hooking this all together. So back to net. This is KP4MD.
Right, very nice description, Carol, and congratulations. So kudos to both you and Christopher. I'm pretty sure you've had a hand in this. Is this the one that you were bench testing at home and you transferred it to this site, or is this a separate one?
Yeah, this is the first one I was testing at home. Right now I have another node at home. I'm using a different interface that's actually working on my base station here. So I actually have a little bit higher power when the amplifier could put up to 100 watts out on it. I'm on a 2-meter simplex frequency with that node. Over.
Very good. So we can get on the N6NA repeater at 145.25 and control the node?
Yeah. Well, right now we don't have that. We're still testing it, so we don't have that. If you're interested in doing that, I can get you the access code to get in there to do the connections and stuff. The thing is, though, we do need an orientation of the membership, and that's what we're going to be doing at the next general meeting, because the node is very powerful. You can, if you do things right, there's not a problem, but you can also cause a lot of havoc on the network if you hook too many people together. And so there's certain things that have to be, certain practices have to be followed when you do that. Over.
Well, I appreciate that, Carl. I won't push or rush it. I'm going to set up an Echolink node on my computer, and then I'll take baby steps, and we'll check in with you later if I'm ready to do more. So what I'd like to do is just kind of announce to everybody that I'm not going to be able to send a photo tonight for a couple of different reasons. The main reason is that I would be sending a photo from my iPhone, and my connection between my computer and my iPhone through iCloud is not working like it's supposed to tonight, so I wasn't able to get the photograph I wanted to send to transfer to the PC. So with that, we'll forego my opportunity to send. I'll say that I've had enough fun, for sure, watching and monitoring the discussion and all the photos that have been transmitted. But before I get ready to close the net, I wanted to see if there were any other comments or questions for Carol on her Sherry node.
7HQR. Congratulations are definitely in order, Carol. I will definitely be one of the users of the NetLink because, as you know, my son is down at the Johnson Space Center Club in Houston, and I listen to their weekly net using NetLink. However, I can only listen. I cannot communicate with them, but they're moving in that direction as well. So, and I just noticed that I tried today, and we can contact with W5RRR-R. So, yeah, that sounds exciting. Appreciate it. Thank you. Back to that.
All right. Thank you, Neil, for that. And that was KL7HQR. Any other comments or questions? I'll have one more round or two. Let me know. All right. Well, I want to express appreciation, Carol, for the presentation on that. I think everybody's excited to hear more about that. So I'll be looking forward to the next club meeting to hear more about that as well. So let's see. What I'd like to do is get ready to close the net. So I wanted to express appreciation to all of those who participated in tonight's SSTV Net, as well as our YouTube viewers or YouTube visitors. So thank you all. And not sure what the count is, but it seems like this net is very popular, so keep them coming. Appreciate your presence. We'll hope to see you again next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. This net is officially closed at 10:04 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Wilson, November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing all of you a very good evening. 73.